Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Paladins of Voltron. We are the unofficial podcast about the Netflix original series, Voltron Legendary Defender. I am Jason, and joining me again this week, as always, the one, the only, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Fine. I need to specify that you are the one and only. We accept no substitutes in our Jeremys. We get the echo.
Although there are at least 3 or 4 people with my same first and last name. And I have run across on Facebook and stuff.
Well,
it's annoying.
Well, that's why we specify that you are the original. Are you the alpha?
I am the only one that's in a podcast logo.
Oh, snap. Oh, you just threw shade at all the other Jeremy Dennises? Oh, no. All right. If you are one of those Jeremy Dennises or anyone else listening to the show, feel free to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We are POV_podcast, or on Facebook at POV Podcast. Our website is povpodcast.com. You can send feedback to our email, feedback@povpodcast.com, or just go to the website and comment on any one of the episodes, and we will be sure to respond to you. There's also the videos you can always comment on too, and we're always happy to see stuff there too. So today we are talking about episode 11 of season 2, titled Stayin Alive. This one is written by Mei Chan and directed by Steven In-Chan Un, who I seem to get a lot of episodes directed by him. And I think he does
I got a few of his.
Yeah. So he does a lot. I think he's probably the name I recognize the most as far as directors go. Him, Eugene Lee, and Chris Palmer seem to be the major players there. Aboard the Castle of Lions, the psychic mice are entertaining Allura while they travel to the Balmera the team helped rescue from the Galra in Season 1. She receives a call from Karan, who says the giant teledove is almost complete on the Ankarian homeworld. Once on the Balmera, Allura is greeted by Shay and her family, who immediately offer to help her in taking down Zarkon. A few miles away sits the crystal-encased Robeast, who attacked the planet previously. Shay and her family take Allura down to the largest crystal the Balmera can produce, and they perform the ceremony to release the crystal. Once it is loaded on the ship, Allura is bidding everyone farewell when the Robeast awakens and breaks out of its crystalline prison. Though missing its head, the creature now controls 2 large corrupted crystals, which it uses to defend itself from the castle's attack once Allura is back on board. The creature's lasers are much stronger now that it has tapped into the power of the crystals, so Allura takes off to get the creature off of the living planet. Once in space, she calls for the Paladins to return as the creature is far too strong for the castle's defenses. Hunk and Keith arrive to distract the Robeast, while Lance takes Shiro and Pidge back to the castle so that they can get their lines. Meanwhile, on Zarkon's ship, Face goes to retrieve the chip he previously left when he was almost caught earlier trying to contact the Blade of Marmora. However, Hagar's druids had already discovered it and left it as a trap for whoever the spy was to find them. Face is then taken into custody by the druids. Back above the Balmera, the Robeast fires another blast at the castle, which completely drains the particle barrier. Lance distracts the beast in order for Hunk to take Keith to get his line, but they are hit by a blast on the way, disabling the Yellow Lion. Shiro saves them, but the Black Lion is called to the battle before he can return the line to the castle. Keith decides to exit the castle and jetpack over to Keith decides to exit the lion and jetpack over to the castle. Excuse me. He too is almost hit by a blast, which causes the Red Lion to awaken to retrieve its pilot. His lion now functional, Hunk attempts to re-enter the battle, only to find the creature has come to find him. He is just able to escape thanks to help from Keith and the Red Lion. Now that all 5 lions are back in the battle, Pidge uses her green blast to incapacitate the Robeast, just long enough for the team to form Voltron and use their sword to destroy its center crystal, and which leads to the creature's demise. Back on the castle, Allura is clearly still cold towards Keith, and they head to Ankaria, where the team reflects on their journey so far as they prepare to take the fight to Zarkon. The episode ends with Hagar about to extract the information she wants from Face. All right, so we have this episode. This is mostly Allura-centric episode. We do get a lot of action with the rest of the team as well. I have a particular reason for loving this episode, which I'll get into. But first, Jeremy, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I was a little apprehensive after seeing the same Robies that we'd seen before, but it was nice seeing them making use of their new abilities and, new teamwork that they have, like we mentioned in the last episode that they've been developing. So it was a more satisfying fight, I think. And this is, again, they're just building on everything that they've developed before, this time going all the way back to season 1.
Oh yeah.
So, I just love how it seems like no idea gets unused. They just continue building on what they've introduced previously.
Yep. Now, my particular reason for loving this episode is this. I have to believe it's intentional, but this episode is totally Space Godzilla. Totally. Because, all right, quick lesson here for, it was the second to last of the, I believe, was it the Showa series or the Heisei series? One of the two. Whatever the middle set of Godzilla's movies was. Right before Destroyer, when Godzilla dies.
I'm not a Godzilla person, so I wouldn't know.
Well, I'm about to teach you some stuff, boy. Right. So Space Godzilla, basically somehow Godzilla's cells get into space and they go through a black hole and it merges with an asteroid or a crystal type thing. So we have a version of Godzilla that lands on Earth who has giant crystals growing out of his back, who also uses crystals to grow out of the ground to defend itself. So obviously there's some slight differences here. We have a Robies versus Godzilla. But the crystals and everything, you said you were apprehensive. As soon and very early in this episode, they focus on the Robies caught in the, in the crystal. And I thought, well, he's coming back because there's no reason to show him if he's not.
Right.
And then he comes back and he's this, no head, which I think even Lance alludes to at one point. Just this giant crystal growing out of his chest, and the two big ones that he's using to block and attack.
Yeah, he's essentially growing the crystals like the Balmera.
Right. So, and yeah, I think what you're supposed to gather from the episode is that while they were doing the ceremony to release the crystal, that kind of helped the Robies kind of come back to life, if you will. That's what I would think. Otherwise, I don't think the Balmera trapped it with the intent of releasing it again. So yeah, and I just thought it was a great reuse of a character or a villain and, making him stronger. And at one point they even, the blast, it's trying to go for one of the lines, it misses, but it hits the two moons that are surrounding the Balmera and they just explode instantly.
Yeah.
So first of all, the particle barrier on the Castle of Lions is like the strongest thing ever because it, with help 3 or 4 hits. And
it's magic plus science.
Oh, that's true. Okay, Thor. So, and then this thing is super powerful. And then at the end, like you said, they use each one. Some of their talents are used, and Pitch has the idea to use her. Is it like the green beam or I don't know what they call it exactly.
I can't remember. It's just her nature power.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Now, I will say one thing about the episode. You can respond to it then after I say it. Some of Alora's lines kind of bothered me this episode, just in how they were delivered. And I think this might also be a money-saving thing. Because, at one point when she says, I have to lure it away from the Balmera. And she just says it out loud. Now, I do talk to myself, so I'm not saying it's not possible she's talking to herself, but just the way she said it, like it was just a red line. It was, I need to get it away from the Balmera. Whereas I think in a better way for that scene to work is if she's doing the controls and she kind of says it under her breath, because that would make more sense to me. Because she's not talking to anyone, she's just talking to herself.
Right.
And I think that's more of a case of it's a lot easier just to animate her mouth moving and say the line than to show us what she's doing. This is something this show's been good at so far. It's good at showing us what's happening, not necessarily holding our hand through it. But this,
I can see though going into their face, and you just have to animate a small part.
Mm-hmm.
It probably is a money saving thing,
right? And she says, I can't remember if I. Yeah, Laura just does a lot of yelling out what she's doing, and I think and again, this isn't me criticizing the voice actress who does a fantastic job. Allura is one of my favorite characters because she kicks butt and she takes names, and I love that. But it was just that struck me as, you know, in a series that does so much right, like it really stood out that, you know, the line read was basically call out what you're doing so we don't have to animate it. So, and you know, we still, you know, it doesn't affect the episode. It was just something I definitely noticed on what would have been my second. Actually, I might have watched this one a separate time just to watch it again because, you know, Space Godzilla. So, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because, and you know, Andrea Romano does the voice casting for this show, and you know, you've got Batman the Animated Series there, you've got Animaniacs, you've got every great show that had great voice actors. She did. So I don't think it's a breakdown of anything other than, hey, I'd love to animate her doing stuff. Can we just have her say the line so we save a little money there? So, yeah. So, were you at all worried about whether Hunk might be a little disabled? Because it was about to blow. The yellow line can handle a lot. I don't know if it could have handled another direct blast from that.
Yeah, it did get me a little bit worried knowing that there's only a couple episodes left. And surprisingly, repairs between episodes are going pretty quick now.
Well, how much repair do the lions need is a good question. Because they almost, I mean, they're living entities. In so far as they, you know, they operate independently, they do have their own thoughts and memories and stuff, as the Black Line demonstrates. So, you know, I mean, obviously, if I break my arm, it's going to take a while to recover, but I'm not a super...
You know, part magic.
Exactly.
Yeah. It solves everything.
Right. That's true. Magic is kind of the ace in the hole when it comes to this. Now, the castle, there's several times where the castle needs repaired.
Right. I guess that's what I was thinking of. That took a while to fully repair when they, you know, earlier in the season.
Right. And, you know, they mentioned, hey, this, you know, 10,000 years this thing went without even moving an inch. You know, it's going to have, you know, it's still. I guess
the little force fields that the lions go in when they're, you know, inert kind of protects them and rejuvenates them.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's probably a good point. That's
So. That's a good story.
Yeah, and it's not a plot point that I don't like or anything. It fits. Yeah. You know, these things take a beating, but they recover, thankfully.
Yeah, particularly the yellow lion.
Oh God. Yeah, man, that thing is a beast. It can handle everything you throw at it. It can handle it. So, and yeah, we get Face is captured. So part of the plan kind of unraveling here, because they do mention that Face is the one to upload the virus, and we haven't seen him do that yet. If he's trying to, every time he tries to, he's interrupted, or he's just trying to contact a Blade of Memora, which again he gets interrupted each time, and this leads to him getting captured because he tries to go back and get his encrypted chip, and they find him. So.
Right.
Yeah, and Hagar looks like she's got some. I mean, there's a buzzsaw in the room going towards him, so.
Hagar's not a pleasant lady.
Hagar don't mess around. Let's put it that way. So eventually, did you get over the fact that they used the Robeast again?
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, especially because they didn't use it in the same way.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean that was my fear was, you know, you would just see a repeat, and I should have known because we haven't, you know, even in Voltron himself. It's not like the original series where it was like form blazing sword / you're done.
Right.
It's been different every single time. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and we haven't seen anything resembling a blazing sword yet. So
yeah,
they're really holding off to make sure that's not how anything's resolved.
Well, I was, you know, at this point, I didn't even think there would be anything resembling one.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't shown it yet, so who knows, right? As we try to pretend we know nothing happens from the series so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I almost think that they Sure, I mean, Blazing Sword. The point of the Blazing Sword is to be the thing that ends the fight. But I like that they're literally waiting 2 seasons to even show you the dang thing because that's all it was.
You see in the Arc episode, they did the big freaking sword.
Yeah.
So they are doing like homages with the sword, but Voltron has so many tricks up his sleeves in the series.
Again, magic.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to mention about the episode?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, once again, feel free to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at POV _ podcast. On Facebook, POV Podcasts, POVpodcast.com. Feedback at POVpodcast.com. Leave comments. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Although if you don't like something, you're getting kind of late to tell us because we can't fix it when we're done.
Right.
So, but yeah, and feel free to hit us up. And hey, if you find any of the lions or you build the combining Voltron, hit us up. Show us your stuff. A couple of our friends on Twitter are starting to find these and use them. Big shout out to Dogcades if he ever listens. Your pictures are fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm starting to see them be restocked. So the wheels are starting to turn in my head that maybe I should think about.
It's tax refund time.
Oh, I got that long. That was spent months ago, my friend.
Okay.
That was taken care of plenty of time ago.
Well, this is my most recent Voltron, thanks to Daryl, who was on a few episodes ago.
There you have it.
And it's probably going to be a while before I can get the new ones.
Yeah.
Too many Transformers.
I have the same Voltron at my desk at work, so he keeps me company. I guess you could technically call that my desk bot, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, everyone. Until next time, we will see you later.
Bye.